Please welcome the Pelbros Podcast.
Yo, thanks for tuning into another episode of the Pelbros Podcast. With myself, James, and Ryan DW on the line.
That's me.
What are we up to? Episode 6?
Every time you ask me this, I got no fucking idea. But yeah, episode 6. I'm going to try to limit on my swearing. That's the last fuck I'm going to say.
Yeah, alright, that's good to know.
I'm a changed man, bro. I'm a changed man, mate.
Episode 6, coming through a bit earlier than we expected. We're planning on doing it this weekend after a week's worth of games. So that would have been 4 games that we would be looking at. But big news happened today. Do you want to announce it, Ryan?
I want to announce it. I guess so. Guys, if you guys have been listening to the podcast, you guys would have known I've been the number one advocate against it. You know, I've been trying to warn you guys for the past how many months and shit. Not months, but weeks and shit, right? And everyone was sleeping. Everyone was thinking it's a joke that James has got the coronavirus and, you know, this and that. But guys, like, y'all kept sleeping, and now look at what has happened, you know? The coronavirus has...
Hey, mate, it's not like I've infected Rudy Gobert, mate.
Oh, wait, hey. You don't know that with 100% certainty, though, do you?
Yeah, I do, because I haven't been in Utah.
Hey, still, he may have been, near Cabramatta.
Unlikely.
Yeah, all right. Either way, yeah, obviously what's happened is that the coronavirus... not necessarily the coronavirus, more so Rudy Gobert decided to fuck things up. And now, we are on a big hiatus, right? What do you call it? Suspension, yeah. A school suspension.
Yeah, NBA suspended their games for the time being. I don't think there's any word on when they'll return to schedule, but that was after Rudy Gobert tested positive for coronavirus. So that actually delayed the OKC and Jazz game that occurred today, and then it also postponed the Pelicans and Sacramento game. So no more games after this, starting from today. The other games that were already played earlier in the day continued on, but yeah, unfortunately we've only got, I guess, one game to kind of report on this week. But the biggest news, I guess, is coronavirus. We didn't expect to see a suspension of the NBA season. I mean, 2020 has been pretty crazy. May as well should we cancel 2020, to be honest?
Well, hey, haters gonna hate when it comes to 2020, man. I'm having a lovely year. You know, if anything, this is my best year after a period of a long period of bad years. So I'm just saying, this is a good year for me. I ain't gonna let no coronavirus stop me. If anything, coronavirus is a blessing in disguise, mate. This entire NBA break we're having and shit. Because let's not forget. I mean, we'll get into this in more detail later, but let's not forget. One of our best 3-point shooters, but one of the best 3-point shooters in the fucking league, right? JJ Redick has been sitting on the sideline because he's been injured, right? And it was like two weeks until we reevaluate that thing. So I think we are already on the week in which he's going to get that thing reevaluated. So this entire big break, if anything, it's a big blessing for us, isn't it?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, staying positive, but we'll see how it goes. We don't know how it's going to pan out. What the NBA are planning to do, but yeah, I think we'll get that into more of that at the end of, or towards the end of the episode after we discuss the game for this week.
The game, yeah. I mean, yeah, because before we even get into the game, what games were we supposed to be watching this week, though?
So it would have been today's game, so Pelicans versus Sacramento.
Yeah, boy.
At the Kings, and then obviously we had the Jazz after that, which again would have been super red hot if he hadn't tested positive today.
Yeah,
probably would have spread it to our whole team, infected our whole team. Damn Frenchman.
Yeah,
and then after that would have been the Clippers game, so the back-to-back against the LA Clippers. So would have been 4 games we would have smashed out, and on Sunday we hopefully would have been 3-1, maybe 4-0 up on this week, but. Yeah, just the one victory over the Timberwolves earlier this week.
I mean, I'll take it. I mean, it's a revenge game victory, which shouldn't have been even a revenge game in the first place, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we should have beaten them twice by now, but Pelicans at Timberwolves at Target Center, result was 120 to the Pelicans, 107 to the Timberwolves. Did you manage to catch this game, Ryan?
Well, it was quite early. It was a quite early game in general. I think in in the States, I don't know which specific, if it's NOLA time or, Eastern Pacific or whatever bullshit they have in there. But I saw that it was like a 3 p.m. game, right? So
Yeah, because it's a weekend for them.
Oh, right. Well, there you go. But so here in Sydney, it was actually starting at 6:30 a.m. So obviously, you could imagine this unemployed motherfucker is is sleeping.
Yeah, he's snoozing, man.
Yeah, he's snoozing.
Get a job, man.
Hey,
Get up and get a job, man.
Hey, I'm trying it. All right.
Anyways, yeah, I managed to catch half of the game.
Yeah.
Woke up. I tried to get up earlier. I tried to get up at 7, but man, what a struggle.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What? Just to catch the game specifically, or
yeah. Well, I mean, I had work.
like quote unquote, right? Working from home, mate. You
Not until 9,
coronavirus
yeah.
victim.
But anyways, I managed to catch the second half. So definitely want to shout out some key performances. Drew Holiday with the almost triple-double, 37 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists on 13 of 20 shooting.
Yeah,
So he was
boy.
lights out on both ends of the floor. And then my other shout-out performance goes to D. Faves, actually. 9 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks. So again, I think he doesn't get much love, but from watching him in that third quarter, man, he was a defensive anchor on the floor. He was blocking shots. He was keeping the paint, locked down, changing people's shots around. He was excellent. So definitely those 2 performances. But I mean, all around performances for everyone, since we don't really have any Timberwolves, players to shout out. Lonzo grabbed his with 18 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 from 8 from 3. So he's actually been killing it from the 3.
Yeah, he has,
And Zion just chipping in his 20 points, 23 points, 7 rebounds. So week in, week out, he would just chip in 20, 25 points. So I won't even mention it that deeply.
Zion actually ended up getting 1 3-point. He's 100% success rate, 100% from the 3-point line for this specific game, though. 1 for 1.
Damn, he must have been in the first half because I didn't get to see that.
Oh, well, there you go.
But it did pull off a sick windmill, so I'll say that.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that was a sick highlight, actually. Yeah, I didn't think we put that on our Instagram, did we?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, because that's too mainstream for us, all right? We're all about that. We're all about that specific,
Original content.
Original content, baby. That's what we're all about. And that's what we should be talking about, actually. Wait, we didn't even put in our plugs, man. We didn't even plug our shit.
Oh, we'll do it after. We'll do it later.
Okay.
But anyways, just kind of
true.
overall review of the game of what I managed to see is overall defensively, I think we improved a lot more. So like I mentioned, Derek Favors was huge in the paint, but I think he was also kind of sparking a lot of energy amongst the whole starting 5 to kind of hustle more, play more help defense, make sure you're chasing your man, sticking to your man. Really, that was kind of what kept us in the lead in the third quarter. So there was the Timberwolves were trying to make a fight back. Sometimes we come out of the half and we're a bit lazy, we're a bit lackadaisical, but not this third quarter. We're definitely coming out with a lot of energy. I bet Gentry's drilling that into them every single week. But we're just playing with heaps of pace in general as well. So just constant transition offense, trying to get the ball to Zoe. He'll run the floor or making those lob passes. But we're playing a lot of pace, which actually ended up causing a lot of turnovers. But in saying that, we're also defending much better. So it was a bit of a push and pull.
25 turnovers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, throwing it around. I think we gave up quite a few turnovers at the end, like you mentioned, 25. But it ended up being worth it because we were getting out. We'll get half of those buckets were getting transition offense, and then we're defending successfully on the other end. And then the other thing was that while we're also defending well, which was also causing the Timberwolves players to not shoot that well. So do want to highlight that while Malik Beasley got 28 points, something like 11 of 13 shots last week against us to put the nail in the coffin, this time he only shot 8 for 20 and he still scored 21 points, so still got his buckets, but definitely not on great efficiency. So
and he had a plus
overall, just better defensively.
He had a plus. Was it Malik Beasley, right? Malik.
Yep.
So he actually had a plus minus of minus 26. Anyway, so yeah, not that great.
That's huge. So all our starters just played really well. All our starters plus minus was above 20. So
yeah, exactly. I'm actually going to read through it right now if you don't mind. So BI plus 21, Zion plus 20, D-Faves plus 24, Lonzo plus 22, and Drew plus 20 fucking 7. So that's pretty good. But
that's music to my ears.
Yeah. So I think ever since Zion's been within the starting 5, I'm pretty sure I read this somewhere that our starting 5 has the best plus minus rating in the league right now. Have you seen that by any chance?
I don't think I have. I did remember seeing a stat that said he had really, like, if you combined his plus minus, it was like really, really good. Like
Yeah.
Zion's one specifically, but no, I haven't seen that one about us.
But
That'd be pretty crazy.
yeah, I mean, well, if you're looking at, the plus minus of this game right now, we're all plus 20 at least, with Zion being the lowest on plus 20 itself. I mean, it's quite believable in terms of like that, whatever stat, because obviously there's all this fake news around. It could just be BS Pelicans propaganda I'm seeing. But to the best of my knowledge, I reckon it's quite accurate. If not the number one, it would definitely be up there, top few.
I would think it's accurate because we have a very strong starting five, and quite often we'll always get buckets with our starting five, but as soon as our rotation has to kind of mix up, and as soon as we're resting guys or giving them their break after they've played their first quarter or however many minutes they've played, don't want to shit on our bench, but we're definitely not as deep as some other teams. So I think, especially defensively. So in the end, I think we end up kind of giving some buckets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could believe that our plus minus with our starters is actually really strong. But the other thing I also wanted to highlight, so the two things that I kind of wanted to highlight as things that we could improve on. So one being was turnovers. The other was we just need to improve our 3-throw shooting. So I do want to shout out Drew Holiday for shooting 8 of 9 from 3 throws. He's usually not that good. He's shooting around, I think, 67, 68, 69%. But this game here, it was lights out, 8 for 9. But our team, 21 of 31 free throw attempts. So 67%. So definitely not good enough. Still got the win, so still celebrating. But, those are the two things I guess we could
improve on.
Be spending some more time on in the gym.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on what you've seen?
Apart from that, obviously I didn't get to catch the game, live, but I did get to see the highlights and stuff. And who did I not see on the highlights? Mr. Josh Hart, who did have a killer of a game just last week, right, on his birthday. But what did this man do? He ended up with 1 point. What's it called? Wait, okay, let me say. So 27 minutes we had Josh Hart on the floor. He was 1 point.
Way too long for
Yeah. 1 point. And the plus minus of, because as I'm hyping up, the plus minus of our starters, his plus minus was actually minus 16. I think, it was the lowest of our entire team. And but apart from the 1 point he got, which was, thanks, bro. Which came from, I guess, obviously came. Yeah, but the thing is, he could have got 2 points. Because talking about the free throw thing, that's actually how he got his 1 point. He was 1 of 2 from the free throw line. So if he made the other free throw, he could have been on 2 points. That's double what he was on right now. But apart from that,
you're better off telling everyone about his bloody field goal.
Okay. I'll look at that in a second. But before, let me hype him up a bit more. I'll be like, but then again, my man did get us 5 rebounds. Obviously, they were all defensive rebounds, but hey, rebound's a rebound and 2 steals. But yeah, in terms of shitting on this guy, how should 0 for? Okay, give me a second. What is that?
It's 0 for 8 from the field.
Yeah.
0 for 6 from the 3 point.
From 3 points. So he was not having a good night.
I think he partied too hard.
Yeah, after the after that entire birthday game where he had the headband on and shit, right? He was blowing up. I think he was quote unquote king player of the game. That what did he even have? He was 19, 15?
19 points, 12 rebounds.
Yeah, 19, 12. That's what it was.
And a clutch 3. So
yeah.
Insane.
So he did kill at that game, and I guess that is what happened.
We'll give him a pardon. We'll pardon him.
Yeah, we'll pardon him. But
only 25 once.
Yeah, true. Yeah, probably what happened is that the man, probably hit the bags a bit too much. A few too many lines here and there. And
red hot.
And what do you know, bro? It's killing your performance. So, not boys, but everyone kids listening in and shit. A, gamble responsibly, obviously, and B, this is the main important thing. Winners don't do drugs, guys. Winners don't do drugs.
I got no comment on that. But anyways, I think that kind of wraps up our thoughts on that game. Great win. Good to start the week. Get best point of it is getting that revenge on the Minnesota Timberwolves. But these are the games that we need to win. We should have already beat them last week.
I was going to say, not only to start the week, but to also close the week, isn't it?
Yeah, now. Yeah. Or now that we're here.
Yeah, now that we're here, right? Because, me and you, just today, we were quite hyped up to be watching the Sacramento game, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of that's the game we need to win. I guess another must-win game.
Yeah.
But they're obviously competing with us for the 8th spot. I think we've beaten them once before. So
JJ Redick, shout out.
Yeah, so we're definitely ready for that game. I was hyped up for it, getting ready for it, and then obviously, so actually when it was happening, I was watching the Dallas and the Denver game.
Yeah, Dallas completely wiping the floor with Denver.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like checking Reddit here on the side. I'm not super that invested into the Mavs and the Nuggets,
Yeah.
They're both good teams, but I'm not that interested. So I'm kind of checking Reddit, and that's when I see the news. I think someone tweeted out, or I think I waited for a verified source, because there were a couple of unverified sources going around that a certain Frenchman, a certain 7-foot Frenchman, had tested positive for coronavirus. But
Always
I was like, I don't believe that, bro. I don't believe that. But it did say that he had the flu, or he came down with illness, so he was going to be out for the game. But I didn't kind of assume coronavirus. And then suddenly, I think Shams, is it Shams?
Yeah.
Or Shams?
Ah.
His actual account tweeted out, Rudy Gobert has been tested positive for coronavirus, and I was just like, whoa. That's crazy.
Well, there you
and
go.
funny.
Yeah.
I was at the same time, I was like, that's funny, because obviously the whole microphone touching thing.
Yeah. What's it called? Like, I mean, maybe you should explain that. I mean, probably everyone's seen the clip, right? But what's it called? Basically, it's just like, what's it called? The reporters are asking him about the coronavirus, like the precautions the league's having, and then he's just like, look at me, I'm a funny Frenchman, ha ha ha, bonjour, bonjour. And what he does is he's touching the fucking all the reporters' microphones and all that kind of shit before he leaves the press conference room. And well, guess what? Motherfucker's got the coronavirus now. So there you go.
Bad timing for a joke.
Yeah, the thing about that though is like, because when you were telling me about this, because as you were getting the live updates, you were obviously funneling that to me, because I'm like living under a rock, so I don't know what the fuck's going on. But with that though, when you were telling me that, I was just a bit like, conflicted almost, because fuck Rudy Gobert and fuck Utah. So that's why I'm just a bit like, okay, like fuck this guy, I'm happy that he's being fucked on, but at the same time, I don't wish the coronavirus on people. More so, the only thing that pisses me off is the fact that this guy is probably spreading it to like all these other talented athletes within the league, right?
Yeah, definitely. There's going to be some big implications coming through about who he's been in contact with. Obviously, he's played a bunch of games in the past 2 weeks, so. It takes some time for those symptoms to come up, and he probably didn't get it like today or say yesterday. He probably would have gotten it maybe a couple of days ago. So there's definitely some massive implications on who he's seen, who he's played against, who he's trained with in terms of his own teammates, coaching staff. Sorry, what were you about to say?
Oh no, I'm not really gonna say anything. Are you gonna say so?
Oh no. Oh well, yeah. That was kind of just going on what you were talking about.
Oh, no, I guess if anything I'm going to say, I do have a solution for this problem. Like, we don't need to go on a hiatus, although I don't mind it, but the solution is quite simple. Obviously, we know the problem is Rudy Gobert. I mean, we've already given him Defensive Player of the Year a couple of times or so. We've given him All-Star this year too. I think that's, that's like enough. He, like, the dog has lived a good life, right? I think maybe it's time. I think maybe it's time to put him down. I'm not saying retirement.
You just didn't advocate for coronavirus on anyone. Now you're suggesting to put down someone.
Oh no, but not letting the coronavirus kill him, but something else. Maybe something with intent.
With intent.
I'm just saying.
To be fair, I think coronavirus has the intention to kill everyone right now.
Okay. I'm just saying, bro. Man. Like, I'm still salty over those like shitty calls, last minute calls we had with Utah over the past, what's it called, two times we met them, right?
Yeah, true. I mean, look, if it was on me, let's end the Utah Jazz franchise because of this. Let's forget about them. Get them out of the Western Conference. Get them out of the NBA. After those, BS calls. Never been a big fan of him or the organization. But anyways, in saying that, definitely don't wish coronavirus on anyone. Hopefully he makes a speedy recovery. It did seem like he was in good sorts, or it seemed like in a good spot. Apparently he was actually thinking, or he said he was confident that he could play the game. He didn't feel like he had any issues, or he didn't feel like he was sick.
Yeah.
But then they tested him, obviously came positive. So, hopefully, wishing him a speedy recovery as much as we joke. about him. But
That's only come from
saying
James. That's only coming from James.
That's good. That's good. But in saying that, NBA suspended the game after that. Suspended all games after that. Overall, what do you think? Do you think this is a smart decision? Do you think this is a overreaction? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I guess they had the choice. Like, what is it? Like earlier this week, they were saying it's either the NBA is going to go on a extended hiatus, I guess, or a break, whatever, or quote unquote suspension in this case, or we're going to play in empty arenas, like empty.
No fans.
Yeah, no fans and stuff. Honestly, yeah, I think watching basketball, not even just basketball, just any kind of live sports, right? You need that entire fucking like the fans there, right? Especially if it's a home game, right? Although the Pelicans haven't been doing that great at home, but having some kind of like energy there, I feel as if that's that's kind of like what gives. That's like half the game.
It's definitely an advantage.
Yeah. Sorry?
It's definitely an advantage to have, your home team and fans backing you and shouting and screaming when you're playing and definitely supporting you. So it's definitely an advantage. I get what you mean in terms of the energy. But I think the one you're talking about in the meeting is that they had all the teams get together and kind of discuss what each team wanted to do, or kind of get an agreement of what they wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
And I think most teams ended up leaning towards that they're happy to play games without fans. Sorry, I think if I'm correct in saying that. So I think in the end, I think they were willing to go ahead with just playing games without fans.
Yeah, I mean, like, even still, like, I wouldn't have minded to see that, right? But at the same time, it would have just been weird. It's kind of, I think I've seen this, like, people were joking about this on the internet, sorry. And what's it called? Just about, like, on, like NBA 2K, sometimes, like, the game glitches or something like that, and, like, there's, like, an empty crowd or something. like the stadium is empty, like, the basketball court is empty. So, yeah, it would be quite weird. Like, imagine that. All you can hear is just, like you'll hear the commentators, but apart from the commentators, all you're hearing is like the ball bouncing and like squeaking on the shoes and shit. Yeah. That'd be quite an interesting experience, to be honest. But
yeah, I want to see it I want to see if you can hear the players loud enough, like what they're saying.
True.
The trash talk. But I think it ended up being just squeaking, a lot of squeaking.
Yeah, a lot of squeaking. Yeah, I think also, what's it called? Because I watched a few kind of, I guess like little. No, it wasn't a necessary interview, but I saw Zion was getting asked about it and BI was getting asked about it. I can't remember what BI said, but Zion was all for it. He was like, yeah, like, it's still going to be competitive even if there's no, what's it called, like crowd. Like, obviously Zion is like, Mr. Optimist, Mr. Humble and shit. But yeah, I mean, if our players don't really see a problem with it, then fuck it. Like, if that's the case, then let's do it, boys.
Yeah. The funny thing that I think that came out of that meeting was, I believe most teams were either in agreement to either play the game without fans or just like pause the season, suspend the season until obviously this whole blows over or there's a time where they can go back to playing. But I think I read somewhere people were making fun of it that the only organization who didn't want to do either of those things were the Knicks.
Yeah.
And they were just saying, let's just continue ahead with playing games with fans until the government says otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that we got one organization here who clearly doesn't give a fuck or doesn't care about its fans or doesn't care about anything. They're probably thinking about revenue. They're probably thinking about tickets and sales and things like that. So I'm just glad I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm going to say that.
Man, like, yeah, I'm happy this is the Pelbros podcast, not the Nick Bros.
Yeah, definitely not. But I think overall, I'd say it's a good decision. Obviously, it seems a bit rushed. So I think, again, the fans are probably the ones that are going to be worse off because obviously a lot of them are going to be paying for tickets. They already book flights to go see games, especially with the fans that were already in the stadium at the time of the postponed some of the games. Obviously, the OKC game and the Sacramento game. So obviously there was some footage going around. Obviously the fans at the Sacramento game were they're a bit peeved off. Some of them were sad. There was a little girl crying.
Oh yeah, I did see that. She was wearing a NOLA jersey.
Pels jersey. Yeah. So represent, but yeah, it definitely kind of sucks for them. But in the end, the bigger picture is that we got to be looking out for players' health, and not even just players' health, but fans' health. The employees there. So in the end, I think it's a good call. It sucks that it came so last minute. It's funny that it came from Gobert because obviously he made jokes about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, overall, this has some pretty big implications for the NBA at the moment. Obviously, where do you go from now, or where do you go from the season? Do you when you go back to when you go to resume the season? How do you go back, or where do you start from? And then even when the question is there, I don't think, like you said, we won't find out more till Thursday or whenever they have their next sort of meeting or decision making process. But we don't know how long it's going to be. It could be a month, 2 weeks. If this gets worse, it does sound like it's getting worse, especially in the US. This could go on for a couple months, but overall, I think we talked about a couple options offline about where the season could possibly go. So I thought I'd just list off a couple, and we can kind of give our thoughts on which one would be ideal or where we see the season going. But obviously, when we go to resume the season after this suspension, we could start from where we left off. So obviously, that would be probably best for the Pels in this case if we're thinking about playoffs, if we try to still make the playoffs. So obviously, just going from where we were, Pelicans versus Sacramento, about more than that, about 64 games in, around that mark. Or we could see, I've seen a tweet go around that they're thinking about a shortened or truncated season.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know the word, but I've seen it everywhere. Like, wait, how do you say that again? Truncated?
Truncated, yeah. So
why can't we just say shortened? Why can't we? Yeah, I know. Why can't we just say short? Like, who even pretends to know that word? Like, who even uses that on like oh yeah, guys, I'm just going to truncate this. I'm like, dude. Okay, but continue.
It's not a typical word.
Yeah.
But it is used in SQL. I don't want to sound like a nerd, but anyway. That could mean less games, tight scheduled, so probably not ideal for teams racing for the playoffs. The other third option I brought up, which I think is obviously most likely, and I think this will happen, would be just playoffs immediately. So where we are right now, top 8 teams go fight in the playoffs, go straight to, essentially skip straight to May or June. And then lastly, if this doesn't blow over, if we keep seeing coronavirus come up and get worse, more people get infected, it's just cancelling the season completely. Just don't put this in the history books as season that was cancelled. So out of those options, what are your kind of thoughts on where you think it's going to happen, and then obviously what are the implications for the playoffs and for the Pelicans?
So the entire thing about that, how do you say it? Truncated?
Truncated.
Yeah,
let's just say shortened.
Yeah, but specifically the quote unquote truncated season. Why that's even being spread around? Why I've seen it. Why you're saying it, etc. Why this new word is added to everyone's vocabulary now? Right? It's because Woj himself is the one that actually said that, saying that. I think he said it's most likely that's the situation, but that's BS, bro. Like, I really hope that doesn't happen, because obviously a shortened season does not help our case at all for the playoffs, where every single game counts. And especially because we have the easiest schedule for out of the people that are competing for the AFC seed, right?
So, exactly. It would give us the best chance. Sorry, having a full season would give us the best chance. Yeah.
So I'm definitely on board for just resume. Like, I don't see why not resume. Where we picked up pick up where we left off, because if anything, does that not give you more money for ratings and stuff, right? You got more different events happening, more different games happening, aka more events in which everyone can be making money. So the NBA has been complaining like, oh guys, I want some rating. Da, da, da. You know what? This is maybe my conspiracy. Maybe this entire shutdown for the next 2 weeks just a way to hype up some media ratings and shit, because not only with NBA shutting down and shit for the next however long, right, or like suspending for however long, right, what's called, like, that's not only in like our circle of the NBA, the people that follow basketball and sports and shit. That's gonna go all over the news worldwide and shit like that. That's gonna be spreading like panic, etc., etc. And you've got like Tom Hanks, getting the coronavirus. There's other yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. If anything, I see it's maybe just like one big play to boost. Okay, it's not just that. Like, obviously there's other motives in terms of like we're gonna keep these players safe, etc., etc. But I'm just saying, we could see it as like a winning point for the NBA in terms of the whole entire year they've been crying, oh guys, we need to get our ratings back up, and then let's do this. And if you really want to get more ratings, then just continue where you left off, and hype up the return of the season, you know, too. Like, be like, oh yeah, we're coming back. Da, da, da. It's quite interesting though, because we had an All-Star break. Now we're having like a coronavirus break, right?
Yeah, this one's going to be a long break.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a long time without basketball. But again, I see what you're saying. I do kind of agree, but I also think that definitely we'll kind of see how this unfolds in terms of the impact in terms of certain, you know, are more players going to start testing positive with coronavirus? And I think that would definitely play into the decision. So obviously we get more players getting it. It might mean an extended break, and that extended break could end up pushing out, you know, for a month, 2 months, 3 months.
Ooh.
And then by then, who knows if we can play a full season, you know, if they've got, I don't know how it's going to work in terms of their arenas that they've got booked out or anything they've got scheduled, how that's going to have kind of a rolling impact on those kind of bookings or appointments or whatever they have in terms of those setups currently already done. But in saying that, yeah, there's going to be a massive implication in terms of players impacted and who may turn up with coronavirus. Just want to point out that Rudy Gobert got tested with, you know, coronavirus positive today, but in the past 2 weeks, he's already seen and played against a whole bunch of teams, traveled all across America.
Yeah.
So in the past 2 weeks alone, he's played. This is going like chronologically for most recent. Toronto, so he went to Canada. He's probably now infected Canada.
Oh, yeah. This guy, bro.
Exactly, and apparently it was funny because they were saying that all the Raptors players are doing all these things together. Like they're having media days. They had some event with Nick Nurse. Norman Powell had some event.
Yeah.
So it's like all these guys who potentially have coronavirus from Rudy Gobert. Not all of them. Not the whole team won't have it because not everyone was defending some 7-foot giant. But the fact that they're all going to these events together in their spare time is just going to make it worse, right? So now they're probably all infecting each other. And then before that, they played Detroit. They played Boston twice, so probably just potentially infected the city of Boston twice.
That's so bad for Boston. That's so funny. Like twice, not just once, but twice.
Exactly, twice. They've played New York before that, and then Cleveland. So he basically has infected the whole East Coast.
Yeah.
And then now that they're going to go back to Utah, and Utah players maybe have it, they're probably infecting the whole of the West.
Yeah.
So, again, massive implications on potentially who may have it. I know that I think Emmanuel Mudiay was supposed to be out with, or he was out with illness as well, so I think he was probably also tested alongside Gobert.
Red hot.
But I haven't heard anything about whether he's got it or not. But again, huge. Who knows how long this and far this will extend. Definitely ideal situation for us in terms of Pelicans and playoff pushes, just starting the season from where we left off. We've got the easiest schedule, like you said. We're playing all these playoff contending teams like Sacramento, Spurs, Grizzlies. Those are the teams we need to beat in order to hop them over the standings. Shorter, truncated season kind of makes sense in terms of just fitting as much basketball as you can in with obviously what they've got, but sucks for us. And then the other two options, would suck just in general because I think we've been so hyped for this season. Us two, myself and Ryan, we've been following it like crazy. So it kind of would suck. And we kind of dedicated this podcast to starting this throughout the season, so it kind of would suck if we suddenly had no basketball.
Yeah.
And that would suck for everyone, all fans, sponsorships, players. It would suck for everyone. And hopefully it doesn't come to that. But yeah, overall, I mean, do you have any last thoughts on everything surrounding coronavirus and the NBA suspension?
I guess with the shortened season thing, right? I guess that won't necessarily be a bad thing if, it all depends on like what games we getting rid of and what games we're keeping. Because what if we just hear me out here, right? Because we're still on the 9th seed right now, right? So we're, I think, 3 or 4 games behind Memphis still. So what if if it was a shortened season, that's cool. If let's say we're putting Memphis against not Lakers, but because Lakers are just gonna throw the game again, but against the hardest teams in the entire freaking league, hey, you're gonna verse Giannis, you're gonna verse Kawhi and PG, and these are the only guys you're gonna verse with a short season, and then us, hey, here's some Cleveland games, here's some New York Knicks games, you know what I mean?
I wish.
Yeah.
David Griffin needs to slip Adam Silver 100 or something.
Yeah. Just a quick, in his a handshake, and then and he gives it a nod.
Not even a handshake, because that's how you spread coronavirus.
Oh yeah,
so
true.
Just gonna put it on the table, slide it over, and then just walk away.
Yeah. But he'll give him a nod. They're both bold. they probably got some kind of connection working out. You know,
Wow.
whilst we're on the topic of Adam Silver, am I the only one that thinks he looks like an alien?
Yeah.
As if you don't think...
He doesn't look a bit out of this world.
Bro, he's such an alien. And he's like all tall and like... Okay, anyways, wait, what was I talking about? Sorry? Oh, yeah. So, I don't mind the shortened season if it's like... what's it called? If it's in our favor, if it's in our advantage, you know, because it all depends on what games we're getting rid of to make it a shorter.
What are the
season.
chances of that? That's it'd be a gamble anyway.
Yeah,
but definitely, if it did mean some basketball at least, so be it. Shortened schedule, shortened season. It have to be that way. Coronavirus sucks, really.
Yeah, but if the Mr. NBA ratings people are listening in on this podcast, which obviously they are, what's it called? If you guys wanted to, make a shorter season, that's cool, but make it so that the Pelicans are, obviously going to make the playoffs, because Lakers versus Pelicans first round, everyone's going to be tuning in for that. That's how you fix your ratings problem, guys.
That's a really good tip.
Yeah.
If they're listening, don't you guys want to see Zion in the playoffs? That will be money for you guys.
Yeah. So it's not like us Pelbros care if we, we don't care, but. Like we don't care at all. It's just like what is best for you guys.
Bias.
Yeah, there's no bias.
We're thinking about from a GM perspective.
Yeah.
Zion's got the number one most jersey sales ever since he's debuted. So
that's
think about your money.
That's
think about your wallets, guys.
That's facts. Yeah,
it's good advice. Good advice.
Exactly. Because that's what we do here at Pelbros. We're not only here making this podcast, but we're also professional businessmen too, right? You know what? Wait. Whilst we're still talking about this topic of coronavirus, James, would you say you yourself, you're a bit of an expert of coronavirus? Because, I think we might have a little advantage over all these other podcasts trying to tune in on their 2 cents about this Rudy Gobert case and, the NBA being suspended and stuff like that, because we actually do have someone. Okay, I'll admit, I was joking that... Okay, no, I was... fuck. Okay, I'll just admit it. Okay, I was joking. James didn't...
Assuming that I have more expert knowledge about coronavirus.
Yeah.
Because...
Wait.
Yeah, no, I don't.
No, you do, mate. You do, mate. Wait, admit it right now. Are you not currently in self-quarantine?
Yes.
Exactly. But
I am.
Here's
but
the thing. Wait.
Because I have it. Not because I have it, though.
Yeah. No.
It doesn't make me an expert, though.
No.
I don't know much about it.
No, James. Like, I'm coming out to, like, I'm trying to, I'm trying to cleanse my soul here, bro. I want to tell my listeners the truth, because over the last how many weeks and shit, I have been joking around that James is a coronavirus and stuff like that. He doesn't, guys. However, he did go to Japan, which is obviously not that great. And he was supposed to go to Korea, but he cancelled it and he came back. And he's been in self-quarantine for the last 1 or 2 weeks. And from the sounds of it, I mean, he hasn't been coughing this podcast, has he? Has he?
No, I haven't. I've got no symptoms. Look, I just care about the general public. I don't want potentially infect. That's why I'm not sitting right next to you right now, Ryan DW, because
this is all virtual.
General public. I'm not Rudy Gobert. I don't want everyone to get it.
Yeah, this guy freaking touching a microphone and shit.
I'm not posting up people touching people's microphones. I'm not touching your microphone, walking around spewing nonsense, joking about coronavirus. But yeah, in the end, I can't say we're experts, but I think I kind of have we have good enough knowledge about it, and we have good enough NBA Pelicans knowledge about it. So,
yeah. But what I'm saying though with that, why I even bring that up is what I'm trying to say is that we can both say that even like at worst situation and shit, it's cool. Like, bro, like we're young guys and shit, and these guys are maybe like the top tier, most elite, athletic, healthy bodies in the world. Even if they are getting infected, even if the virus does get spread around to other athletes, no one's going to be dying, The only people dying is like old people, 80 years plus, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they'll get the best treatment, the best care.
Because they got all the money. All the money.
Exactly. It comes down to money.
Too.
But they're definitely in the best health. They're definitely in tip-top shape. So, again, hopefully none of you that are listening get coronavirus. I wish I don't anyone. And hopefully everyone comes out healthy and, the NBA starts again as quickly as possible, as soon as possible. Yeah.
Just because we're on this thing, another interesting fact, I think I mentioned this to you before too, because we were talking about the money, which is important, right? In the US, apparently to even do a test for coronavirus is over $1,000 US, mate. So, only people that can be affording that is obviously, what do you call it? Who are these guys again? NBA superstars, multi-millionaires.
Rich superstars.
Yeah, exactly. So, Yeah, because I think Monty Williams was making a comment about that, like, oh, the only people that can afford it are, people like Rudy Gobert. So that's what I'm trying to say. That's why I have no sympathy for Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people were saying, isn't it interesting how suddenly they went from not being able to test people, that was the word around town or word around the US and the government, saying there's limited tests, and then out of nowhere they just pulled out as many tests as possible for these NBA players. But again, that comes with money. That comes with being rich.
That is true. And that's the game. That's how the world works, son. And
yep.
I ain't complaining. Like, it's cool. We just got to all understand the game and make do with the situation you're given, right?
Yeah, pretty much it. But I think that overall wraps up our thoughts on this whole coronavirus NBA suspension issue.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you have any more thoughts? Last thoughts?
Oh man, okay, we were touching on this before, right? But either way, what happens in terms of the return? Okay, obviously, unless we just skip to playoffs or we just stop the season completely. But the one thing we were mentioning before, right, is JJ Redick. JJ Redick, my man, has been injured for a week or two now, and so he's come to the time where they're going to reevaluate him before they chuck him back on the court. I think I read somewhere, maybe on Roto World, saying that it's likely that he's going to spend even more time after the 2-week reevaluation. So, bring on the break, bring on the coronavirus break, son. Like, let's get my man healthy, JJ Redick and shit, right? Like, so if anything, this is like a blessing for us, man.
Yeah, well, let's hope games return as soon as possible before he comes back, or right after he comes back, or he's healthy.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, as much as this is kind of an advantageous situation for us, we do have to keep in mind though that because there's it depends how long it's going to be. Even if it's I'd say 3 to 4 weeks, right? At minimum, right? Not that's saying that it hasn't done a huge spread, because Rudy Gobert was being a dick. Now the whole league is infected almost, right? But let's assume it's just a chill situation, right? 3-4 weeks or so. The only reason I bring that up is because basically, sorry, I'm burping. Basically, what's it called? Our boys might get a bit rusty, you know what I mean? So the Sacramento game that we got going on right now, if we were going to go jump straight back into the Sacramento game, because of that rust, obviously all the other teams are maybe having that rust too, but it could have a negative, we could have a few games we might slip up on when we get back into things, just because we're, shaking off the ring rust, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I did read somewhere that most teams are still going to train and keep in shape, so
yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen, hopefully it's all good.
Yeah, but so obviously,
but I think the other implication, obviously, with this break is going to be, the real question is what's happening with the Pelbros podcast. So obviously, we won't have games to be talking about, and we won't, have those game reviews and those weekly episodes that we do. But I think we're still going to be putting out as much content as we can. We'll come up with stuff. There definitely will be some interesting topics coming up along the way. There'll be coach discussions, probably team discussions.
Yeah.
But definitely let us know if there's anything, you guys want to hear, any content ideas, we're down. We'll probably be still pumping out a couple episodes.
Yeah, that is true. We've got plenty of ideas. If anything, we're saving these ideas for the off season, because we were like, okay, off season is going to happen soon. What we're going to do for, that entire time, et cetera, But because you guys got to understand, we're some digital marketing geniuses. So anyways, but apart from that, because of this little blessing in disguise, coronavirus break, now we can actually experiment with those ideas for the next few weeks. So that's going to be quite fun. It's going to be quite interesting. You guys maybe going to see a a side of the Pelbros you haven't seen before.
Yeah, so there should be some new interesting stuff coming up. If you want to keep in touch with that, definitely check us out on Instagram at Pelbros.
Yeah, like I said, we're blowing up. I'm always going to keep saying this because it's the truth. We're blowing up, and we're going to keep on blowing up.
You can also find us on YouTube. Just subscribe to us for updates, but you can find us on pretty much all channels.
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Deezer,
Pocket
Google
Cast.
Podcasts, Pocket Cast, you name it, you'll find us. So search us up on anywhere, on any of your podcast avenues, and you'll find us.
It's just actually.
I think that's pretty much it, right?
Hey! You're forgetting the most important thing, mate. The business inquiries, mate.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Because I know that Mr. NBA ratings guy is listening to us. He's like, yo, these guys are giving us some good ideas, guys. Like, yo, let's like pay these guys to like promote our shit, right? Or business inquiries, or even just more professional settings or something like that. You want to contact us, right? Pelbros
Consultations, business inquiries.
Oh yeah. Because we do also offer like one-on-one phone calls. That's a very premium service of ours. However, and it's very exclusive too. However, we are open to hearing your guys' thoughts and stuff. And if you guys because we want to see if you guys are a right fit for our organization or not. Regardless though, pelbrospodcast@gmail.com. So
and also for any feedback as well. So
feedback.
Either email via IG, via YouTube comments, give us any feedback, whatever you guys think, whatever you guys want to hear, content ideas. If you have any questions for us, definitely hit us up.
Honestly, because that's what I said, like what I've been saying all these episodes, right? Like hit us up, man. Like don't be shy, don't be a stranger. Like although I'm saying like we're blowing up and because we are worldwide and all that, it is the truth that we are some superstars and shit. But you guys got to realize, we're all about the roots. You know what I mean? We're all about the roots. We don't forget where we came from. You know what I mean? So like, you send us something, we're probably gonna reply. So don't be shy.
We'll definitely reply. We'll reply quickly as well. So definitely reach out.
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks for listening to everyone.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much wraps it all up.
Yeah, I reckon that was quite a good episode, James. Like probably better than last week's, maybe. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. Do you have any closing thoughts?
I believe we had an interesting discussion on the coronavirus and it is quite a serious topic. If anything, this is quite interesting. It's a very quote unquote unprecedented event. This entire situation.
It's actually like probably first time in history.
Yeah, and like with that, it's still. You know what? I don't even think it's like sinking in properly yet. To be honest, I'm just like, shit. Is this actually happening?
You'll sink in when by the end of the week you're like, damn, I want to watch some basketball.
Oh yeah, true. Oh, that's maybe my closing note, mate. If anything, let's not forget on the podcast episode last week, I did promise that the rest of this week, not the rest of the week, but the rest of this month, the month of March, I'm not going to be betting. Oh, well, it just happens to be that there's no more games to be betting on. So. Yeah.
Good for your wallet, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if anything, that means is that when the bets do come, like when the games do start happening, A, I'll probably have a bit more money then, and B, I'm gonna have to jump back on because although I did delete the sports bet app from my phone and stuff like that, I was with my mate yesterday, so I got to suss out the odds a bit. And yeah, Pelicans versus Sacramento, I think we were 1.8 favorites to win, and Sacramento was like 2 point something. So, yeah, that's a potential bet I may be sussing in, however many weeks' time.
If it comes back, who knows if the season returns.
Don't be like that.
We'll see.
Mate, it's going to return, and it's going to return like how we want it, in the advantage of the Pelicans, mate.
Let's hope so.
Yeah,
let's hope so.
Because we're making it AFC. We're making it AFC, player.
Cool. But I think that wraps up everything.
Yeah.
Should we close it off there?
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, another shout-out again because, the intro was sick, right? My boy Danny Boy, I'm not going to say his socials and stuff. I'll talk to him about that later. But yeah, what can I say? Shout outs to you guys if you guys are still listening in. But my last kind of thing is like, you know how like Buzz Lightyear says infinity and beyond, like to infinity and beyond?
Yeah.
What I'm going to say is to the 8th seed and beyond.
Hey. I'm with you there. Hopefully, season returns and we're back in the 8th seed.
All right. Let's do this, son. Let's do this, son. And yeah, stay tuned, boys.
Stay tuned. Thanks for listening. Pelbros checking out.
We out.
Bros checking out.
We out.
Bros checking out.